Dad's hand was shaking as he signed. My sister Lisa smiled at me across his hospital bed and said, "Don't worry, Em. I'm just helping him organize his paperwork." I was holding his morphine syringe. He'd asked for it 20 minutes ago, but Lisa had insisted we wait until after he signed. I should have known right then, but I didn't, because this is my big sister we're talking about, the one who taught me to ride a bike, the one who drove me to my first day of nursing school when my car broke down. I trusted her. Let me back up. 6 months earlier, Dad called me at the hospital where I work as an ER nurse. 3rd shift, 2 a.m., middle of a crazy Saturday night. I almost didn't answer. Thank God I did. "Emma." His voice sounded wrong. Hollow. "I need you to come by tomorrow. The doctor had some news." My stomach dropped. Dad never called me at work, never asked me to come over. He was the tough-it-out type. Former construction foreman, built half the houses in our Houston neighborhood with his own hands. If he was calling, it was serious. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 to 12 months, maybe less. The oncologist was kind but direct, no sugarcoating. Dad sat there in that office chair, hands folded, taking it like he took everything else in life. Steady, strong. I cried. Dad didn't. Lisa cried too when I called her. She drove down from the Woodlands that same day, rushed into Dad's house with this stricken look, hugged him for a long time. "Daddy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." She was a real estate agent, did well for herself. Nice car, nice clothes, that polished look. Always had been the golden child. Perfect grades, perfect husband, perfect life. I was the screw-up who barely graduated high school, got pregnant at 19, had a messy divorce by 23, worked my way through nursing school as a single mom. But none of that mattered now. Dad was dying, and we had to deal with it. The first decision was about care, hospice at home versus facility. Dad wanted home. Of course he did. This was the house he built with his own hands in 1987, where he raised us, where Mom died 8 years ago. "I'll do it," I said. "I'll take care of him." Lisa looked at me. "Em, you can't. You have work. You have rent. How are you going to—" "I'll figure it out. I'm a nurse, Lisa. This is what I do. But your job, I'll quit." She blinked. "You'd quit your job? He's our dad." Something flickered across her face. I couldn't read it then. Looking back now, I know what it was. She was calculating, running numbers, seeing opportunity. "That's incredibly selfless," she finally said. "But are you sure? I mean, I can help too. I can take time off, come down on weekends. I want to do this." And I did. I gave my notice at the hospital the next week, moved into Dad's house full-time, set up the living room as his care space because the stairs were getting too hard. Hospital bed, oxygen, medication schedule on a whiteboard. I became his full-time caregiver. Lisa visited every 2 weeks, sometimes 3, always on Sundays. She'd bring groceries, sit with Dad, talk about her real estate deals. Dad loved hearing about her success. His face would light up when she walked in. She was good to him. Attentive, or so I thought. About 8 weeks in, I noticed something. Lisa had started coming alone, asking me to run errands while she was there. "Em, Dad mentioned he's out of those protein shakes he likes. Would you mind running to the store? I'll sit with him." "Oh, we need more gauze too. Could you swing by the medical supply place? I've got him." "Why don't you take a break? Go get lunch. You look exhausted." I was exhausted. 24/7 care is brutal, even for someone trained in it. So I'd go. Grateful for the break, happy that Lisa wanted one-on-one time with Dad. I didn't know what they talked about when I was gone. Didn't know what papers she had him sign. The first real warning sign came in month 3. I was helping Dad with his medication when he said, "Lisa told me about the will change. I think that's smart." I froze. "What will change?" He looked confused. "Making her the trustee." She explained it reduces your burden. You're already doing so much. "Dad, I don't know what you're talking about." "Last week. We went over it. She had that lawyer friend of hers on video call. Nice young man. Said it was standard practice when someone's a primary caregiver. Conflict of interest or something." My hands went cold. "You changed your will?" "Just the executor part. Lisa's better with financial stuff anyway. You know, I was always planning to split everything 50-50 between you girls." I wanted to scream, wanted to shake him, but he looked so frail, so confused about why I was upset. His medication made him foggy sometimes, the pain meds, the anti-nausea drugs. He slept 16 hours a day now. I called Lisa that night. "What the hell is going on with Dad's will?" She sighed, one of those patient, condescending sighs. "Emma, don't be dramatic. It's just a formality. You're his caregiver. You can't be his executor, too. It's a legal thing." "Since when?" "Since always." "Look, I talked to an estate attorney. This protects you as much as it protects Dad's assets. What if someone questions whether you're spending his money appropriately? This way, there's oversight. I'm doing you a favor." She made it sound so reasonable, so logical. "I don't like this." "Em, you're stressed. You're not sleeping. You're seeing problems where there aren't any. I'm your sister. I'm trying to help." Her voice softened. "I love you. I love Dad. We're family. That's all that matters." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. 2 weeks later, I found out Dad's savings account had been moved. I discovered it by accident. A statement came in the mail addressed to Dad. The bank had sent it to the old address before updating to Lisa's P.O. box. It showed a balance of $127.43 in an account that should have had about $60,000. I checked his other statements. His checking account, normally around $3,000, showed $84. I called the bank. They couldn't discuss account details with me. I wasn't authorized. But I'm his daughter. I'm his caregiver. I understand, ma'am. But unless you're listed as a power of attorney or joint account holder, I can't access that information. Who is listed? A pause. I can confirm that Lisa Rodriguez has full power of attorney on this account as of 6 weeks ago. My vision blurred. 6 weeks ago, right after the will change. I called Lisa. No answer. Called again. Voicemail. Texted. "We need to talk about Dad's bank accounts. Now." She called back 3 hours later. "Emma, calm down. I moved the money to a better account. Higher interest rate. It's still Dad's money. I'm just managing it better." "Where? What account?" "A trust account. It's complicated. The estate attorney set it up. I want to see the paperwork." You're not thinking clearly. You're exhausted and paranoid and... "I want to see the paperwork, Lisa." Silence. Then, "Fine, I'll bring it next Sunday." She didn't. The next Sunday, she showed up with her husband, Mark. Big guy, friendly, always called me kiddo even though I was 32. They both wore these concerned expressions. "Em, we need to talk about you," Lisa said. "About me? You're not sleeping. You're losing weight. Dad's worried about you." "Dad's worried about me?" "He mentioned you seem angry all the time." Snapping at him. I have never snapped at. "Maybe you don't realize you're doing it. Caregiver burnout is real, Em. Maybe we should look into getting you some help, a hospice nurse, to take some of the pressure off." Mark nodded. "You've been doing an amazing job, kiddo, but even superheroes need backup." They were tag-teaming me, making me feel crazy, unstable. "I want to see Dad's account statements." Lisa's expression hardened. Just for a second. Then the concerned sister mask slid back into place. "Of course. I'll get those to you. But right now, let's focus on making sure you're okay." That was April. In May, I found the mortgage papers. Dad's house was paid off. Had been for 15 years. He'd burned the mortgage papers in the backyard, threw a little party. I was there. I remembered. But tucked in a stack of mail again, sent to the old address, was a refinance notice. A cash-out refinance for $280,000, processed 6 weeks ago. The house was in Lisa's name now, too. When I confronted her, she had an answer ready. The estate attorney said we needed to protect the house from Medicaid recovery. If Dad goes on Medicaid for hospice care, they can put a lien on the property. This way, the house is protected for inheritance. By putting it in your name? It's a transfer on death deed. You'll get your half when the time comes. It's just paperwork, Em. Where's the $280,000? Invested. For Dad's care. Do you know how much end-of-life care costs? This is planning ahead. Every answer sounded reasonable on the surface. Every explanation had just enough truth to make me doubt myself. But my gut screamed that something was wrong. I talked to David, my husband. We'd gotten married 2 years ago, second marriage for both of us. He was a forensic accountant, worked fraud cases. Quiet guy, methodical, never jumped to conclusions. I don't like this, he said after I explained everything. None of this sounds standard. She says it's all legal. Estate planning. Legal doesn't mean ethical, and it definitely doesn't mean honest. He pulled out his laptop. What's the name of this estate attorney? I gave him what little information I had. Lisa had mentioned a name once. Martin something. David searched, frowned. There's no estate attorney in Houston by that name. At least not one licensed to practice. My stomach dropped. Maybe I got the name wrong. Maybe. Or maybe she made it up. That night, I couldn't sleep. I went to Dad's room, watched him breathing. The oxygen machine hissed. His face looked so peaceful in sleep, so different from the pain-tight expression he wore when awake. I'd been giving him morphine every 4 hours. The hospice nurse had shown me how. The dosage had increased over the months as his pain worsened. But Lisa had been controlling when I gave it to him. I realized that now. Every time she visited, she'd say things like, "Let's wait a bit, Dad. The medication makes you so groggy. Don't you want to be alert for our talk?" And Dad, hurting, trusting his daughter, would nod. And then she'd have him sign things. The realization hit me like ice water. She'd been timing his medication to keep him lucid enough to sign, but too foggy to really understand. I felt sick. Dad died on a Tuesday morning in June, peaceful, in his sleep. I was holding his hand. Lisa arrived within an hour. I'd called her first, even before the hospice nurse. She cried, held him. We cried together. For one moment, I let myself believe that maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe grief and stress had made me paranoid. Maybe she really was just trying to help. Then we met with the funeral home. The director asked about payment. Dad had a small life insurance policy, $15,000, enough to cover a basic service. "We'll use Dad's insurance," I said. Lisa shook her head. "Actually, we can't access that right now. It'll take weeks to process. I think Emma should cover the funeral costs for now, and we'll reimburse her once the estate settles." I stared at her. "You want me to pay for the funeral?" "Just temporarily. The estate will reimburse you." "What estate, Lisa? You moved all his money." The funeral director looked uncomfortable. Lisa's expression went cold. "Dad died intestate." "What?" "Without a will. The documents he signed before weren't properly notarized. They're invalid." My world tilted. "You're lying." "I'm not. I checked with a real estate attorney. The will is invalid, which means his assets go to probate, split 50-50 between us, like Dad always wanted, but it'll take months, maybe a year. You planned this." "I planned nothing. I tried to help Dad organize his affairs, but apparently the notary didn't do their job properly. These things happen." She was so calm, so matter of fact. I paid for Dad's funeral. $8,700 on a credit card I couldn't afford. David offered to help, but I refused. This was my dad, my responsibility. 83 people came. Dad had built half their houses. They respected him. Lisa gave a beautiful eulogy about what an amazing father he was, how he taught her the value of hard work and family. I couldn't speak. I stood there, numb. After everyone left, Lisa approached me in the parking lot. I know you're upset, but we'll figure this out. Family is what matters." "Get away from me. Don't be dramatic. You stole from our dying father." "I managed his assets. There's a difference." "Where's the money, Lisa?" She smiled. Actually smiled. "In investments. Safe. Earning interest. When the estate settles, you'll get your half." "I don't believe you. That's your choice. But the courts will sort it out. In the meantime, maybe you should focus on getting your life back together. Find a job. You've been unemployed for 6 months. That's not healthy." She walked away, got into her Mercedes, drove off. I stood there in the funeral home parking lot, shaking. That night, David came home early from work, found me on the couch, staring at nothing. He sat down, didn't say anything for a long time. Finally, I found something. I looked at him. He pulled out a folder. "I've been digging into Lisa's finances, called in some favors, had a friend at the state run some checks. And She's broke, Em. Completely broke. Her real estate business went under 8 months ago. She's facing foreclosure on her house, has $120,000 in credit card debt. Mark left her 4 months ago. She's been hiding all of it. The pieces clicked into place. Dad's money. Dad's money saved her. The $60,000 from his savings paid off her most urgent debts. The $280,000 from the refinance stopped the foreclosure and cleared the credit cards. She used your father's assets as her personal bankruptcy fund. But the will. I pulled the courthouse records. She filed a copy of the will 2 days after your dad died. But here's the thing. He opened another document. The signature doesn't match. He showed me 2 signatures side by side. Dad's real signature from his driver's license renewal 6 months before diagnosis, and the signature on the will. They weren't even close. She forged it? I think she had him sign blank documents while he was medicated, then filled in the details later. That's why she kept sending you on errands. That's why she controlled his medication timing. I felt like I was going to vomit. There's more. David said quietly. I found prescriptions in her name. Lorazepam, Xanax. She was drugging him beyond his normal pain management, keeping him compliant. That's elder abuse. Yes, it is. Can we prove it? David smiled. Small, grim. I'm a forensic accountant, sweetheart. Proving financial crime is literally what I do. The next morning, we went to a lawyer. A real one. David's friend from his FBI days who now practiced elder law. Her name was Patricia Chen. 60 years old, sharp eyes, sharper mind. She listened to everything, looked at every document David had compiled. Then she said, we can destroy her. How fast? I asked. Depends how cooperative she wants to be. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. What's the hard way? Criminal charges. Elder abuse, forgery, fraud, embezzlement, federal charges because she moved money across state lines. She's looking at 5 to 7 years in federal prison. And the easy way? She returns every penny, signs over any claim to your father's estate, and disappears from your life forever. I thought about it, about Dad, about what he would want. Then I thought about Lisa's smile in that parking lot. Hard way, I said. Patricia smiled. Good. I was hoping you'd say that. The confrontation happened at Lisa's lawyer's office. She'd requested a meeting to settle the estate amicably. She showed up in a designer suit, confident smile, carrying a briefcase. We were already there. Me, David, Patricia, and 2 FBI agents. Lisa's smile faltered when she saw them. What's going on? Patricia slid a folder across the table. We're here to discuss your systematic financial exploitation of your father during the last 6 months of his life. I don't know what you're talking about. Then let me clarify. Patricia opened the folder. You forged his signature on 17 separate documents. You administered unprescribed sedatives to ensure compliance. You transferred $340,000 in assets to yourself through fraudulent means. You filed a false will with the probate court. And you did all of this while your father was dying of cancer. Lisa's face went white. I have an estate attorney. You don't. Martin Calloway doesn't exist. We checked. This is harassment. This is a criminal investigation. One of the FBI agents spoke now. Miss Rodriguez, you're being charged with elder abuse, fraud, forgery, and embezzlement. Because you moved funds across state lines, these are federal charges. I want my lawyer. You should probably get a good one, Patricia said, because the evidence is overwhelming. Your father's medical records show lorazepam in his system at levels consistent with the prescriptions filled in your name. The handwriting expert's analysis shows the will signature is a forgery. The bank records show you transferred his money to accounts solely in your name. The title company has emails showing you explicitly instructed them to rush the refinance while your father was, quote, having a good day. Lisa looked at me, really looked at me. Em, please, I'm your sister. You stole from our dying father. I was desperate. The business failed. Mark left. I was going to lose everything. So you took everything from him instead. I was going to pay it back. I swear. You told me he died intestate. You were never going to pay anything back. She started crying. Real tears, I think. Or maybe those were fake too. I couldn't tell anymore. The FBI agent stood. Miss Rodriguez, please stand up. They arrested her right there. Read her the Miranda rights. Handcuffed her. She looked back at me as they let her out. Em, please, don't do this. I'm your sister. I said nothing. The trial took 8 months. Lisa pleaded not guilty at first. Then, when her public defender saw the evidence, she took a plea deal. 7 years in federal prison for elder abuse and fraud, 5 years for forgery, 3 years for embezzlement, running concurrently, so 7 total. She was ordered to pay $340,000 in restitution every penny she'd taken, plus $85,000 in damages for emotional distress and legal fees. Her house was seized to cover part of it, her car, her jewelry, everything. The state also revoked her real estate license permanently, flagged her for credit fraud. She'll never work in finance or real estate again. And the court ordered a permanent restraining order. No contact with me. Ever. Dad's house went to me. The life insurance, too. The remaining assets, after legal fees, came to about $180,000. I used some of it to go back to school, became a nurse practitioner specializing in palliative care. I work with families dealing with end-of-life issues. I teach them about advance directives, power of attorney, estate planning. I help them protect their loved ones. Because I couldn't protect Dad. I didn't see the signs until it was too late. Didn't question enough. Trusted too much. I think about that a lot, about the moment in Dad's room when Lisa said, "Don't worry, I'm just helping him organize his paperwork." I should have known, should have looked closer, should have protected him. But I also know that predators like Lisa count on love. They weaponize trust. They exploit the fact that good people can't imagine their own family betraying them like that. If you're watching this, and someone in your family is vulnerable, elderly, sick, dependent, please protect them. Get everything in writing. Use real lawyers, not friends of friends. Don't let anyone isolate them or control their medication. Don't let anyone send you away during important conversations. And if your gut tells you something's wrong, it probably is. Trust that feeling. I didn't, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life. But at least I can make sure Lisa regrets it too. See you in the next story. And remember, family isn't always blood. Sometimes blood just means you share DNA with a predator. Choose your protectors wisely.